Okay, section 5. No, and we're on section 4. Relationship between words on WordNet, and there's a couple of interesting words in there, isn't there? So that it says we call it hypernym, so you've got an E in there, refers to the superset of an entity, and hyponym refers to more specific subsets. Okay, and you can query for hypernyms and hyponyms using the methods that you're just about to show here, Mike.
Okay, so we're gonna search for the noun of dog and the most frequent use. So, so we're going to do O1. Yes.
Remind me what the O1 does.
And the O1 is the first instance, the most frequently used sense of the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're going to store the result in a variable called dog. Yeah.
Okay.
So after that, we're now going to access that dog. So now we can.
So dog is just a variable.
Dog is now just a variable, but now it's taken the entire class result from the synset function call and stored it in dog. So now I can just quickly look at the hypernyms.
The hypernyms,
not the
hypernyms, the superset of an entity.
We're looking at the hypernyms, not hyponyms.
So that should be the superset.
Okay.
What does superset mean in this context? Okay.
So there we are. That makes complete. So we have two.
So the superset is the bigger umbrella, which encompasses it, isn't it?
So what's interesting there is we have the most common instance there is domestic animal, and the second one is a canine.
Yep. Okay. Fine. So now let's do hypo.
So let's have it. So we could do exactly the same, but now we're going to look at the hyponyms. Hypo. So not hyper. Hypo.
NYMS. That's it.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay,
so we have names that look and this gives you Corgi, Great Pyrenees, Lapdog,
Puppy, Pug,
Spitz.
Okay, so you get that.
Working dog, toy dog, down there.
That makes it very clear, though, doesn't it? What hyper and hypo is. So we can go up or down the tree in kind of the language itself, can't we?
Yeah. So the individual word forms in the synset are known as lemmas. Some relations only hold between lemmas, i.e. between specific word forms.
Lemmas or lemmas?
Lemmas, how do you say it?
Double M.
L-E-M-M-A-S.
Yeah, I might say it is lemmas then.
Lemmas. So, so to take that as an example, we retrieve the first synset associated with the adjective good and print its lemmas. Okay, so how do we do it? We should know how to do this now. Let's create a variable called good, and in that variable we're going to go to WordNet, and we're going to ask for the synsets. Yes, and in the synset we're going to search for good, and we want an adjective, yes, and we want the first sense, yeah? Okay, all good. Now we have that.
Okay, let's have a look at good lemmas now.
We're going to have a look at the lemmas available with good. So if I just press my full stop wait a bit now, you see this makes it a little bit easier to make sure that.
So you know it exists more than anything else.
And I can just choose the one I want. Lemmas down there.
You've got call function.
And then we have good adjective O1 dot good. There is only one lemma or word form in this inset. You can retrieve autonyms for a word as follows. So we're going to now have a look at the autonyms for that. So let's create a variable called G0, and now we've got good. So we're going to look good dot lemmas, and then we're going to look at it. We're going to index it by the first element. Okay. So let's just have a print of what we've got in G0 now, just out of interest. Yeah? Okay. Yeah. We have that lemma. So we have that result, the first result. We only had one result anyway, and now we stored that into G0. Yes?
Okay.
So now if we look at G0 and we look at the autonyms.
Antonyms, that is right.
Antonyms. Antonyms.
So we're looking for the opposites of that particular word.
Yeah. And there we have it. Bad. So the opposites of good is bad. So it goes on. Let's also explore two more relations. Go on, how do you say that?
Meronym and holonym.
A meronym and a holonym, eh? This is vocabulary challenging. A meronym of a word is a subpart or a member. A holonym is the whole of which the word is part of a member. The separate is an NLTK that retrieves meronyms and holonyms for part and member relationships. Okay, so let's go back to our dog variable again. We look at dog, and we want to see the parts meronyms. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
We have a look at that. We have flag, N and 7. Okay. And then we go to see, have a look at the member meronyms. So we'll do dot.member meronyms. I spelled something wrong there, didn't I? What did I spell wrong there? Underscore. And then it's not a dot, it's not a class reference, it's actually a name of a function, it's underscore. Nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we look at the part holonyms. Nothing. And then we look at the member holonyms. And we can see we have a name and a pack. We also have a sixth sense of the word pack. So the output says that that the dog or flag N07, we can see up here, flag N07 is part of dog N01, and dog N01 is a member of Canis 01, and pack N06. So yeah, so that's looking into the holonyms and meronyms, and we'll go on to say, using what you've studied so far, print out the definitions of flag N07, Canis 01, and pack N06 to see whether these synthesize. So we remember how to do that. We can print out definitions. We've done that up here. Look, here we have our definitions. We can use the synset, so we can change this very slightly, and we can look at flag. And what was it? Flag N07. Let's see the definition of flag N07. A conspicuously marked or shaped tail. Interesting. Yeah, did that click here? Now let's have a look at Canis N01. Type, genus of the Canidae, domestic and wild dogs, wolves and jackals. Okay, and the third definition that we look at is pack N06. Pack N06, a group of hunting animals. So we can see that after looking at the meronyms and the antonyms and the holonyms, they all give us these information back, these similarities of some sort or another. And then when we find the definitions, they do indeed have a relation back to the first word of dog. You know, so we looked at the definition of flag, which is a seventh sense when reflected against dog, is a conspicuously marked or shaped tail.
Interesting, yeah.
And then when we look at Canis, that's obviously gives us the domestic and wild animals, wolves and jackals, and pack, a group of hunting animals. So it is interesting. Well worth
Slightly
putting
tricky
into
to
a
use
board.
that one, isn't it?
Slightly tricky to work, but put good advice here would be to find some words yourself, put them in, and get a sense of what these functions are going to deliver.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Fantastic. That's section 4.